What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome. My name is Meg, and today I am doing a review of the KKWxMario full collection. Alright everyone, so I got the entire bundle from the KKW Beauty x Mario Collection collaboration, and I am so excited to dive into this video with you guys. I am wearing the palette and one of the glosses on my face today, so I did swatches first. And I have an update because I have used the palette a couple of days. I do like to go in. First impressions is nice, and using it a couple of times is still more of a first impression. But I really want to give a feel for palettes before I recommend them or not. So let's go ahead and roll into it. So the palette, the whole collection itself retails for $85, which seems like a lot. But the way I justified it is that this palette by itself is $40. So half the cost of the bundle is with the palette, and that was worth it to me. And I really love lip glosses. I'm always on the hunt for new glosses. So the fact that I could get two glosses, I was excited about it. And then the lipstick is the only thing that was iffy to me because it is a darker brown. I'm going to include some swatches comparing it to other shades. So by itself, this palette does retail for $40, and it does come with a nice size mirror, and the pan size is really comparable to other brands. For reference, here is a typical Morphe palette. So you can see the pans are maybe like the slightest bit larger than what's in the Jaclyn Hill palette by Morphe. So it's a pretty standard size. And honestly, for it being Kim Kardashian, she totally could have like hiked this price up, and the fact that she collabed with Mario, but I think that is really, really reasonable. And then of course we have this lipstick. It retails for $20. I can't really justify spending $20 on a lipstick. I'm not much of a lip person. I'm much more of like an eyeshadow and like skin kind of person, and that's where I'd rather splurge. But it did come in the bundle, so that's why I have it. And the lip glosses do retail for $18, which again is a little bit on the higher side for a lip product, in my opinion. I think I would pay somewhere between maybe like $14 to $16. Even that is kind of pushing it for a lip product. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into some swatches and comparisons. This is the color of the lipstick. I see this look great on a lot of people. That, as someone that is super fair, this does make me nervous that it's so dark, because normally when I go for a nude, I want a nude to be lighter on my skin tone. I don't really want a dark brown nude. But this does remind me of two lipsticks that I already have, so I'm gonna get into that really fast. So here I have the Dose of Colors collab with Katie and Desi, and this just reminds me so much of these colors. See if I can do this without dropping anything. So the name of the lipstick is Classic K, and you can see it looks like it really does belong in this family. Up top up here is More Creamer Please, in the middle is No Shade, and at the bottom is the KKW Classic K lipstick. I was able to get More Creamer to look decent on me. It's not necessarily my favorite, so I'm really interested to swatch this later. Ooh, the formula is like super like creamy. Swatching this. Okay, so to give you guys a little comparison, this top shade right here is More Creamer Please by Dose of Colors. Under that is No Shade by Dose of Colors. And at the bottom, and then also on the side, is the Classic K lipstick. So it makes me happy swatching that Classic K isn't as brown as More Creamer Please. So that does give me some hope for when I swatch it on my mouth later on. So here is the lipstick, and I'm pleasantly surprised that it doesn't look terrible on my skin tone. So that's a really good surprise. This can just be worn by itself. Honestly, I feel like putting a gloss on top of this would almost be too much, and I'm like living for it in its own moment. The only downside is that you can see how uneven my top of the lips are, because I was lazy and didn't use a lip liner to even them out. But it's a really gorgeous color, honestly. Like, I'm shook that this looks decent on me and I don't hate it. And it's super velvety, super smooth. It does not feel drying on my lips whatsoever, which is always a relief when wearing lipstick. If you're curious about the makeup look, I'm doing 3 looks with 1 palette featuring this palette over here. I'm gonna do a quick swatcheroo on my hands. I don't mind this packaging. I think it's pretty cute. I am so excited for this juicy lip gloss. I'm gonna start off first with, actually I'm gonna go in with Juicy, which is described as a natural sheer peach with subtle pink pearl. It's actually a pretty opaque gloss. You can see the difference. So this is the shade Juicy. It's kind of like My Lips, but with a sheen on it, which is kind of my go-to look. So it definitely lightens and pales your lips more than Juicy did. And I just wanted to show you guys that these are super smooth, super glossy, and that they aren't sticking together. Some glosses goop up in the corner of your mouth when you talk. These are not doing that. Granted, I'm only having them on for about 10 seconds. You guys can kind of see the color right when you deposit it. So I feel like if you wanted these glosses to be more opaque, you could build it up that way. They really have no scent, which I can appreciate. You know, you do have people that are sensitive to fragrances. So there on the bottom, you can see the 2 different lip glosses. They look absolutely gorgeous. So for me, $18 again for a lip gloss is a little bit high. If I were to get something from like Sephora in the mid-tier section, I would expect to pay somewhere between, like, in my ideal world, somewhere between $14 to $16, but I guess $18 could also be a standard price. I do just think that the lip products are a little bit pricey, but I do think that the palette is on par. Alright, so you guys know the drill on my channel. I do not like doing hand swatches, arm swatches, any of that stuff. She doesn't like it either back there. I prefer to do eye swatches because at the end of the day, you can stare at like arm swatches all you want. It doesn't really speak well to the formula and how it's actually going to perform. You can have something that swatches amazing but doesn't work well whatsoever on the eye. So I like to go in to show you guys full blown how the palette actually performs. And I am going to break my rule here because these shadows are so pretty, like you can't help but to swatch these. So I'm gonna go in. This first color, which is 2008, my only complaint is that like the shadows are listed like backwards on the palette. So if I were to be like, I'm using this color right here, it reads it as Loyalty, even though it's really 2008. So there is 2008. Like I said, these shimmers are calling my name. Next is Glam. That looks absolutely gorgeous. So then we have Armenian and Bronzy. These shadows are like, they look so nice. 2008 and Glam are having like that wet, slick, metallic effect just by swatching it. So I'm really loving that. Of course, we can't not swatch the 2 redder colors. So it looks like those are Vegas and Libra. Libra definitely has like that same sheen and finish as the first 2 colors, while Vegas, I think it's more of a satin because it's kind of a mix between a shimmer and a matte color. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into eye swatches. As you know, on my channel, to set my base, I use a concealer. I use my Tarte Shape Tape because it is really nice and opaque. And then I'm going to set with a loose powder.
First up, we have 2008, which is a metallic icy silver color. So for all the metallic colors, I'm going to do a finger swatch, a dry brush swatch, and then lastly for the metallics to really see if they show off more when wet, I am going to wet them with a setting spray and then apply the shadow. So that is how I will be doing all the metallic and shimmer shades to see if they transform. And with 2008, it definitely did transform. Glam is a metallic rusty gold. Miami is a matte warm caramel brown. Since I am pulling them up on my finger before I put it on my eye, I figure since it's on my finger, I might as well just swatch it on my lid just to see the payoff, just for, you know, scientific purposes over here. So this color I was getting frustrated with on camera because it was looking patchy on camera but blended in real life. Armenian is a metallic bright gold. Loyalty is a matte, deep chocolate brown. Decade is a matte peachy cream. This color is like my exact skin tone when I have my concealer base on. It's like the slightest bit lighter, so it could be a good matte brow bone highlight for me, or it could also be something really good to set my base with. But since it didn't really have any pigment or bring much to what I had on as a base, I just went ahead and used the next color on top. Albanian is a matte brick brown. This color did go on slightly patchy at first, but once I blended it, like it smoothed out, and once again, it's looking weird and patchy and not opaque on camera. I'm not really sure what's going on with this color in Miami. I'm not sure if it's because they're more warm tone and like the hints of red in there. I swear in person, it looked opaque, it looked flawless, it looked blended. So I'm not really sure why things got lost in translation here, but these colors look a lot better in person. Vegas is a metallic deep burgundy. Vegas is the unique one out of the group because it's described as a metallic, but to me it's more of a matte shade. It falls almost flat compared to the other metallics. And I don't think it's supposed to be like wham bam in your face and like super wet and shiny like the other ones. But this is what's weird. I did the dry brush, I didn't get a ton of payoff, and then with the wet brush, I got a lot of fallout, which shouldn't be happening since the brush was wet and the product was wet. But then when I went to blend it out into my crease, I got even more fallout. So if you want to use this all over the lid or in your crease, definitely do your eye makeup first and do your base last so you don't ruin your foundation and everything else that you have on your face when using this color. And here you can see all the fallout that was on my cheeks just from using that color. Fallout isn't a bad thing, it's just a heads up, and then just make sure you're taking a little at a time and slowly building the product up to avoid fallout. Here is Libra, which is the most talked about color in this entire palette, I believe. It is a metallic cobalt blue.
So this blue eyeshadow is so interesting. Like, it's very powdery, very messy, even though I like tapped away the extra. I think that this shadow definitely needs to be used wet. This is like the only shadow in the palette that's had this much fallout. Like, I have fallout all over the side of my nose, all over my cheek, and it just doesn't look the best like on a brush that's not wet. So very interesting. That's like not what I was expecting from it. I was expecting it to look like how it did wet without being wet. So there was quite a bit of fallout on my face from that. And then you guys saw this one had a little bit of fallout too. Then I'm just interested, I'm wiping away the blue one to get the last shade because like I want to see like how easy or hard it is to remove. So you have to work a little bit harder to get this blue shade off your eye space. I feel like I have blue like all over my face. You guys can see all the blue, and then the other colors just not so much. But yeah, definitely. Man, that blue's not what I expected. Okay, noted to self, if using blue shadow, definitely do eye makeup first. Alright, last color.
Dun 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 dun! Last but not least is Bronzy, and this is a metallic coppery bronze with gold flecks. Definitely a Kim K signature.
So here is the last shadow. I like taking the shimmers and blending them up into the crease just to give you an idea of what they look like besides on the lid. And then with this one, I really wanted to see how it would blend out with a blending brush, and like I really am happy with the way that it looks. For this one, if you pack it on and then you tap it on your lid and then blend, you shouldn't really have to worry about fallout. There was a teensy bit of fallout with this color, and that was pretty consistent with any of the shimmers. When I was putting them on my lid with a brush, I was getting fallout. And you saw this one, it kind of like applied a little bit patchy at first until I wet it. So the shimmers definitely perform best with a wet brush. It truly does transform them. Here is the palette after swatching. As you guys can see, the blue kind of got into this camel color. It got into like this light gold color. It just kind of got everywhere. I'm just like disappointed that it's acting like that, because I think like the blue is a standout moment for this palette. There wasn't really any terrible kickback or anything. I thought that the shadows were all pretty buttery and smooth. So I have had time to play around with the palette. I've created some looks, 3 looks using one palette featuring this will be the next video on my channel. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bells so you don't miss out on the video. And I am really happy with this palette. Like, I feel like they easily could have priced this higher than $40 considering it's Kim Kardashian and Mario Donovic. Like, this is such an affordable price point in my opinion for what you're getting. The quality of the shadows is there. I've used this a couple times. You can see the palette really isn't dirty. There's not a lot of fallout. The shadows are super pigmented. You can blend them out easy. Like, Mario said that he really wanted this to be a beginner-friendly palette, and it really is. It's really, really easy to work with. My all-time go-to favorite palette is the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill palette, and so far, out of all the palettes that have been released since then that I've picked up, none of them have topped this. This is always my go-to palette. I always travel with it. I always reach for it whenever I'm sitting down to just do a makeup look. And I think I finally have a contender for this palette, which really speaks volumes. If you are able to get your hands on this palette, I highly, highly recommend that you do. The quality is really, truly there, and I'm excited to see what she puts out next. And I don't know if you guys have been watching Glam Masters, but I just watched the season finale, and I am so excited to see the collaboration with the winner. I won't say any spoilers, but I'm like really excited to see what that collaboration and collection is going to look like. So yes, if you aren't already, be sure to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, because YouTube is apparently only notifying people of videos if the notifications are on. Super annoying. Be sure to give me a thumbs up if you like this so I know that you guys are enjoying my content. Let me know in the comments below what you would like to see from me next on my channel. I would love to hear from you guys. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone.